Okay. Uh, yeah. Last video was about brain tumor and how I was worried about losing my mind and all that stuff and if I would live or not live. Uh, yeah, so don't let them tell you have a brain tumor and then a month later have surgery because the whole month you're questioning what's going on in your life and how you'll end up in the end. Um, Mine was in the left lower uh, part of my back of my head, so posterior fossa ligneona, I believe is how you say it. Um, Anyways, so I got a scar. It runs from here all the way down to here, about halfway down my neck. Um, so a lot of neck muscles cut, I guess, and yeah, worrying about it was a bigger deal than getting it done. So, um, I went in on a Tuesday morning. Had to be there at 6 o'clock. The surgery started at 8. Remember talking to the surgeon and anesthesiologist, and they just put a mask on your face, and that's the last thing you remember until you wake up in a totally different part of the hospital, which was the ICU unit. Um, and you're in this really cool bed that has like the mattress that moves up and down all the time, and they had like 6 different things on my legs that were like a cuff that you would use for a blood pressure cuff, couple below the knee and one above the knee, and every couple minutes they would inflate and then deflate, and the bed would constantly blow up in different areas to raise and lower your body. And I don't know if they thought I was going to end up in a coma and I'd be there for a month like that or what, but it was pretty cool. I was stuck with a catheter in, and they said when they put the catheter in, it wouldn't go in all the way. So then, of course, just another thing to think about after you get out. Anyways, they wouldn't because it wouldn't go in properly. They wouldn't take it out the whole time I was in the hospital. They wanted it in right until I left the hospital. I guess like, in case something went wrong, they wouldn't have to put another one in. So that was a pain in the butt because I couldn't get out of bed real easy because I have that jug to carry around plus the IV that never came out until maybe an hour before I got out of the hospital. So I woke up in ICU first night and was just I had pressure in my head, but it wasn't totally bad. It was They had me on morphine, but not a lot. And the concerning thing was that my wife and daughter didn't show up, which I knew they were waiting in the hospital until I got out. And they had a thing to track the doctor for when he went in and out of the operating room and stuff like that. But as soon as my surgery was over, the surgeon was supposed to call them and let them know how it went. And told him where I was. He never did. So I'm laying there, and it's probably about 8 o'clock at night, and I'm just going to the nurse, which was a guy, a nice guy. I said, like, I can't understand why my wife's not here. Like, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my wife still wasn't there. I said, something has gone wrong in my family or something, and they had to leave and go and take care of an emergency or something. I'd just like to know where they are. Like to figure it out. Anyway, then finally they showed up. So I'm laying there in the hospital bed for like 5 hours worrying about what the hell happened to them, right? And Fig was wondering what happened in the rest of the family. Did one of her kids get hurt or something, or what? Anyway, they show up and they said, "Oh, just no one had told us." So, and they had my phone, so I couldn't even have texted or anything. Not that I was up for it; I was just sort of half there. So, anyway, day they gave me a few chunks of ice during the day. That was about it. Like, it's a little low on the liquids part, and no food because I have the IV in. And the next day they give me food and whatever to drink, and so in the first night overnight was another male nurse, great guy. I think they only have like 2 clients in the ICU each, so you get a lot of attention, and just like pain meds, just whenever you need them, just let me know. I got you. Right? So that wasn't bad. The next day, the day after the surgery, like, talking to the doctor, and he says, "Yeah, you might be able to go home tomorrow." And I'm going, "Oh, really? That'd be cool." And I felt good, right? Just had to take the pain meds on a regular basis, but other than that, I get up, sat in a chair for a couple hours, and then I had to get back in the bed, but only because my back is so bad that I can't sit in a chair for hours on end. So I got back in the bed, and then the nurse, it was a young nurse that day, I think she was 21 years old or something. Anyways, she came in and seen me in bed, and she's going, "Oh, I was going to take you for a walk." I said, "Well, that's fine, we can go for a walk. I just can't sit in a chair for hours because of my back." So she left me for half an hour in the bed, and then she came in and got me and took me for a walk around the hall, and I was having no problem. Then by the end of that day, they said, "Well, if you're going to get discharged tomorrow and nothing seems to be too off here, well then we're going to transfer you to a different floor for the last night." I said, "Yeah, that's fine." Oh, and I forgot to mention, when I'm laying there in the bed over the first night, they had this pad behind. If you ever seen the pads they put on a bed, they're blue pad in case someone wets themselves or whatever. They had that behind my head, and then the nurse looked at it at one point, and it's all covered in liquid, bloody colored liquid, and so he pulled that out and put it somewhere, so I guess so the doctor could see, and then he put a towel behind my head to see if it was still leaking. Okay, don't ask me if it was spinal fluid or brain fluid or just blood. I don't know. Anyway, they seemed to be a little concerned about it at that point. But then the next day when the doctor came in, there was no fluid on the towel that they had put behind my head. So no, there was nothing on it. Anyway, so they moved me to a different floor, And I ended up in a private room. I don't know why. I didn't have coverage for it or anything, but I ended up in a private room because that's all they had open. The whole hospital was full of people. So, which was nice, and it had a nice chair in it, which is good for my wife because she has really bad legs and hips. So, um, I got moved into this nice private room. Still couldn't get up and go to the washroom because I had an IV in one arm and the jug for my catheter on the other side of the bed. So like I have one thing on each side of the bed. I can't even get up. So anyways, the next morning the doctor came in, the surgeon came in, and he said, "How are you feeling?" And told him how everything was going. He said, "I don't think I have a problem getting up and walking around." He said, "It's just that there's a catheter on one side and the IV on the other." He says, "Oh, that can come out now. The IV can come out. Just before you leave, the catheter will come out. Yeah, and then we just have to make sure you can go pee before you leave." So, that's basically what happened. I was out of there by, well, I got breakfast in the hospital, but I didn't get lunch. So, probably around 11:30 or so, my daughter got there, and we're, well, no, she was en route. She was just about there. So they said, "Well, we could use this room again because the hospital's so full. So we'll send you down to the downstairs," because it was like 2.5 hour trip for my daughter to come pick me up. So they put us downstairs in this big open area that they keep people in while they're waiting for a ride or whatever. And anyways, my doctor showed up and we went home. We were to my wife's hotel before 12:30 to pick up her stuff because she had made arrangements to leave her stuff there for a couple extra hours. Anyway, then we came home and I've been in bed pretty much ever since. I went and moved 2 lambs yesterday morning into a jug because I texted my daughter. I seen that there was a lamb board. We have cameras. I can watch the barn, so that's like something I can do while I'm sitting here, right? So I texted her or messaged her, and she didn't answer. So I figured, well, she's got her phone turned off at night. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. So my wife and I put on our clothes and we went out. That was not last night, but the night before. So Monday night, I went out and, well, Tuesday morning, I guess. Tuesday morning. So I got my brain surgery done Tuesday morning, and 7 days later, so it wasn't a full 7 days later, it was 5 hours short of 7 days later. I'm moving lambs in the barn. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to pick up more than 7 pounds, and they're probably 7 pounds each. So let's say I put 7 pounds in each hand. So it's really only carrying 7 pounds in each hand. So anyway, they're just tiny wee suckers. Anyways, then yesterday, which is Wednesday, yeah, I spent the day in bed, and I'm just using Tylenol and ibuprofen for pain. So I take 2 at a time. I actually ended up having to go and so I went and got some Tylenol #1, which has the slightest bit of codeine in it. Just enough to take the edge off. But most of the time my head's stuck to a pillow. But I can watch my television. I have my wife with me, like way better than the hospital, man. And my son-in-law is like right there anytime we need anything. Same with my daughter. Got the grandkids. Grandson comes over and shovels their deck off. Like, not so bad. Anyways, somebody tells you got a brain tumor, don't worry about it for a month. Just friggin' go get it. Hopefully they tell you and get it taken out in the next couple days, because it's the waiting time and looking at all the things that could happen or might happen, that drives you nuts. Anyway, I still have some time. I'm supposed to take it easy for 6 weeks without picking up anything over 7 pounds. And I had my operation on the 20th of January, and I get my stitches out on the 5th of February, which is 2 days after my birthday. It's a good birthday present. And on my birthday, I'm allowed to start driving again. So that's a bonus. Anyway, so we'll see how everything works out from here on in, and see if it gets better, worse, or better, worse, or the same, as the eye doctor would say. Anyway, weird things that I'm feeling. This side of my head sort of feels a little hollow. Like I feel like I have no hearing in that side, but when I plug my other ear, I can still hear. So I guess it's still working. What else? Nothing else big. I just go from the bed to the bathroom. The remote control for the television's right on the bed. I made my wife breakfast this morning, which I never do, but I get stir crazy sitting in here because it just drives me like there's nothing to do. I'm a guy that gets outside and I'm pretty active, right? Usually, I spend a few hours watching television a day, probably in the evenings, but mostly because it's dark. And the 6 weeks will be up mid-March, which is exactly the time that I start getting into my bees. So let's hope that everything's rocking at that point. Oh, and if anybody knows me, is watching this, I shave my beard. I usually wear a goat and a mustache, but I decided to shave it. It's just too itchy, and when you're eating stuff and you're on pain meds, you get stuff running into your beard and stuff. You get a little bit crusty under there, so I thought I'm just gonna take this off, and then I can wash and put cream on my face and stuff like that while I'm laying around here. I can look cool once I go back out, right? Anyways, we should get a bunch more lambs in the next, I guess for the next month we're gonna be taking care of lambs. My daughter's got a bunch of sheep. She's got like 19 sheep, I guess, and we have 3. So I have one ewe of my own that's coming in. So I'm hoping for a couple baby ewe lambs, so we can keep getting the numbers up a bit. Anyways, I enjoy the sheep as much as I enjoy the bees, and maybe even more. They're just something you just go out and do, and they have their own little personalities, and some of them won't let you touch them. Other ones run up to you for you to touch them, and there's less people involved in having sheep, so I deal with hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people every year when it comes to selling bees. So the sheep are just sort of, you raise them, take them to the sale, and you spend all your time doing fencing, renovating barns, just like it's all stuff at home. I love being at home. My back is too bad to really go to work for anybody, so I have to keep self-employed. That's the only thing I can do. That's why I do the bees, because I can go and work for a couple hours on them, And then if my back's too bad, I just quit for the day. Or if I wake up one morning, my back's too bad, I just don't go do them, right? So it all works out. Anyway, have a good one. We'll see what else happens along this trail here. So.